Darkness was my greatest fear. Each night before bed, I used to turn on a small night light next to my bed, which would stay on throughout the night. Darkness was my #1 enemy. But then, I discovered a magical place, a place where darkness reigns supreme, the Amazon rainforest. According to NASA, Amazon boasts one of the darkest night skies on Earth. In the Amazon, plants, animals, and its indigenous inhabitants have always lived in an environment without artificial light. And you know what? These dark areas are truly extraordinary. If there isn't the full moon to provide some light, everything is enveloped in an inky blankness. I often found myself wondering how indigenous people moved with such mastery in total darkness. It's as if they possess magical eyes that could see even in the depth of obscurity. But when I first found myself beneath those Amazon night sky, I felt no fear. Instead, I experienced a profound connection with the earth and the heavens, unlike anything I had ever felt before. I was there in a vast cosmic expanse with solid ground beneath me and an infinite sky above. It was an experience that awakened in me a deep sense of gratitude. And enveloped in this darkness, the forest inhabitants reveal their true nature because they feel at home in the dark. And it's here that my journey as a photographer truly began. Joaquin is an indigenous young man from the Kokama tribe, residing in the Siete de Agosto indigenous community at the border between Colombia and Peru. It was a night of new moon, and the sky was completely dark. We belong to the land, to the light, and to the darkness, he told me. I was walking behind him, equipped with an headlamp to stop me tripping over in the dark. And he was walking so calmly in front of me, as if there were an invisible light illuminating his path. According to age-old indigenous tradition, plants, trees, rock, animals are all interconnected. This means that they view the environment as an extension of themselves, and they truly consider it their responsibility to care for it. The wisdom of indigenous people teaches us that we are all custodians of this place called Earth, and they firmly believe that everything is interconnected. Here we see the feathers on an Ara macaw belonging to the parrot family. And these feathers became a tangible symbol of connection because these feathers are used for ceremonies and rituals that celebrates the cycle of life, the fertility of the land, and the spiritual connection with ancestors. But transitioning from feathers to rituals, even fruit plays a significant role. This fruit is known as huito, and when grated and applied to the skin, it triggers a chemical reaction that transforms its color into a rich, deep blue. And for indigenous people, it is not merely a fruit, but it also holds a sacred role. It's used as protection against the jungle's malevolent spirit and as a purification for the body. But now, let's delve into the roots of their tradition and allow me to introduce you the Hoheroho tree, an ancient giant. It has stood for approximately 450 years and has been revered sacred since immemorial time. Its roots emerge from the earth, and its resin was once used as purgative for children, adults, and cattle. But the true mother of this land, the conduit through which this connection became possible, is indeed water, aqua. And the Amazon has taught me that water is not an obstacle to avoid, but it's life itself. And in the Amazon, water is everywhere. And look up to the sky, and you see rivers in the form of immense rain clouds. And you look down, and you see rivers carving through the jungle. Water is an ancient spirit, and never before had I understood its significance so profoundly. Every ripple in the water, every droplet in the rain, and every current in the river is part of their story and their blood. It's as if they are born with an innate understanding that nature and water is not just a resource, but it's a lifeline, it's a mother, and it's a spiritual force that makes everything possible in their lives. Don Francisco is an indigenous member of the Ticuna community, and he is a skilled fisherman and carpenter. Don Francisco possesses the knowledge of these waters and the forest secrets. And Don Francisco also represents the wisdom of people who listen and respect what nature teaches. In the Amazon, it rains a lot. And during the rainy season, the water level rises by more than 10 meters, and it completely transforms the everyday life for the people who live here. Water becomes the master, la regina, and the Amazon River gets huge, and it turns into a big maze of water. And villages that used to be on solid ground are now floating in this watery landscape. I've never seen such big, heavy raindrops falling from the sky before. The Amazon rainforest has its own special way of raining, and this rain brings big changes, some good and some tricky, for the folks who live here. It's a story about how people can adapt to that situation and keep going, even if their homes are floating on the water. So, when we are standing by the Amazon River, let's remember how important water is, because it's not just rain, but it's what keeps the Amazon alive, and it challenges and inspires the incredible people who live in this rainforest. But without water, there would be no plants. And the deep-rooted connection indigenous people have with the environment is seen in their special relationship with plants. And this connection allows them to understand plants' secrets more deeply, and to use them not only for ceremonies and rituals, but also for medicine. And now I would like to tell you something. Last year, while navigating the Amazon River, our boat collided with a tree hosting a wasp nest. And I faced the nest up front and was stung on my arm. Initially, I applied a medication recommended by my pharmacy father, but my arm swelled and hurt. But fortunately, an indigenous woman noticed my problem and offered to help me using a plant she had in her garden. And it's hard to convey the astonishment I felt when, after she applied the bandage and the plant on my arm, my hand gradually began to open, and the pain subsided. Often, our rational European mind tends to question such ancestral knowledge, but try to imagine if it's happened to you. You might have thought it was merely a coincidence or the placebo effect. But this incident opened my eyes to the incredible wisdom and healing power found in indigenous knowledge. And it challenged the skepticism that often surrounds these traditional practices. And now meet Johnny. in his homeland as he gathers coca leaves. Johnny is a wise man, he is a teacher, he is a traditional healer from the Murui tribe. And his tradition revolves around the use of coca and tobacco as sacred and medicinal plant. Vittoria never confused coca with cocaine. Coca is our ancient medicine that has been used for 8,000 years in various regions of South America. It's not a drug. However, it can be turned into one, cocaine, he told me. The coca leaves that indigenous people use are in the form of mambe, a fine powder obtained from roasted coca leaf mixed with a reagent, in this case, Jarumo plant ash. Mambe is a sacred medicine, and with its feminine energy imparts wisdom to words. But mambe is always accompanied by its partner, the ambil. Ambil is a paste of tobacco, and with its masculine energy, it provides clarity in listening and also helps organize ideas, so that during the conversation, there is a warm reception by both sides. What happens between mambe and ambil is a sacred union. And with their power of speaking softly and sweetly, they help to create a positive dialogue, and they also help to create harmony and peace. These rituals are the tangible expression of the profound connection indigenous people have with the Mother Earth. These are rituals where the secrets of nature are unveiled and the power of its plant is harnessed. These are rituals steeped in immense reverence and gratitude for the land. They really believe that nature is alive in every tiny fragment. And one wise soul once told me, Vittoria, pause and listen, because nature speaks. And I did. The people I've had the privilege to meet have imparted me a profound lesson, the art of walking in the darkness. And they have shown me how to adapt, just a resilient plant do. And now, I have no longer harbor fear of the darkness, because for it has birthed a portal, a gateway of light. And this gateway is fashioned from awareness and a voice that whispers. In birth, we emerge from darkness into light, from water into air, and we grow as children of the earth. Thank you.